Alright guys, today we're going to learn about something called relations. A set of ordered pairs is called a relation. So this is going to be kind of easy. We go on. I'm going to introduce you to something called a mapping. And I'm just going to read this. A mapping illustrates how each element of the domain, now your domain is your x values, is paired with an element of the range, which is your y values. The set of the first numbers of the ordered pairs is your domain, again x. The set of the second numbers of the ordered pairs is the range, the y. This mapping represents the ordered pairs. In a mapping, you've got these two rectangular boxes. Domain, all your x values are listed in that box, and then the range is in the other box, and the pairs. This first ordered pair is -2, 4, so -2 is paired with 4. And then the next one, -1, 4, 0, 6, 1, 8, 2, 8. That's how the mapping looks. Go on. Now this is kind of what you're going to be doing on part of your assignment. You're going to be given ordered pairs the normal way you would see them with parentheses. You're going to be asked to put them in a table, your x values vertically, y values vertically. You're going to be asked to graph them on a coordinate plane, actually plot your points, and then you're going to be asked to make a mapping with the same ordered pairs. So it's actually really easy. It's just different ways to display them. And when you talk about x and y, you'll hear this throughout the year in different assignments. These are some of the words and the terms that are used to describe x and y. You can call it domain. X is called domain, independent, or input. All those words refer to your x value. The x goes in, y is your output, it's your dependent variable, and it's your range. It's also, and you're going to learn more about this term tomorrow, f of x. It's also called f of x. Why? Like I said, we'll get into more of that tomorrow. But the main thing to remember here, x is domain, y is range, and y is always dependent upon x. X is independent. Y depends on x. Let's go on. Okay, so this is an example of what one of your questions will be. Express these ordered pairs as a table, graph, and mapping. Then, determine the domain and the range. So the first thing we're going to write up is a table. Make yourself a table. Put out your lines on your table. Okay, so with our table, draw a line down the middle. We have 4 points. We'll make this our x, this our y. Put all our x terms. We have 4, 3, -4, and 0. So 4, 3, -4, 0. We'll have in the y, -3, 2, 1, and -3. Now we're going to do, we did the mapping next. We'll do graph last. So mapping has these rectangular boxes. This is our domain, and our range. Again, it's just your x column, and you list your domain. You already have that in your table, so just copy it over. -3, 2, -3. And then I'm going to match them up. 0.4 goes with -3. The 0.3 goes with 2. The -4 goes with 1. And actually, I already have -3 on your ones. So I'm going to take it up there and match 0 with -3. You only have to write your numbers once in the range. So 0 goes with -3 as well as 4. And that's your mapping. Now we're going to plot our points. 4, -3. So right 4, then down 3. Put a dot. And that's 40. it's showing it as a table graph and mapping. Now, determine the domain and range. Last answer. Let's say my domain is 4, 3, -4, 0. My range is -3, 2, and 1. That finishes that question. There's a lot to do on a question, but they're all really easy. Next thing we're going to look at is how to read a graph and describe what's happening in the graph. So this is that graph represents the distance Francesca has ridden on her bike. Describe what happens in the graph. Well, as the time is increasing, as the time is going this way, the distance is increasing for a little while. And then it becomes a horizontal line. So that means she's riding her bike at first, and then she stops for a while, and then she continues to ride her bike again for time. So as the time stays constant, she's not riding the bike. She's not going anywhere. That's what the horizontal line means. So then if you look at these two, describe what is happening in each graph. Similar, driving to school, as time progresses, we're covering distance, we're driving to school. Then it gets horizontal for a short time. Could it be a stoplight we stop at? And then we start going again a little slower. Maybe another stoplight, stop right here. And then we keep going a little faster, maybe on a faster road. Change in income. Well, this could be a good thing. Over time, the longer you work at a job, your income is getting better. And this area right here might be a time where it just kind of stayed the same for a while. Maybe you weren't being as productive at work, and then your income goes back up a lot more. Be a lot of different explanations. And then the last thing you're going to look at is how to tell the difference between independent variable and a dependent variable. Remember what I told you, x is the independent, y is dependent. It always depends on x. So when you read these types of things in your paper, 2a here, the air pressure inside a tire increases with the temperature. You have to determine which one's dependent, which one's independent. When I read these, I always say, okay, let's see. Does the air pressure inside a tire depend on the temperature, or does the temperature outside depend on what your air pressure is? Now, of course, obviously, that one makes no sense. The temperature does not depend on what our tire air pressure is. It's the other way. So the air pressure here is our dependent variable. It depends on the temperature. So the temperature is our independent variable. So independent. And the next one, as the amount of rain decreases, so does the water level of the river. Now, does the amount of rain depend on what the water level is? No, of course not. It doesn't dictate how much rain comes down. The water level is dependent on how much rain. So this is our dependent variable, and the amount of rain is our independent variable. It works all alone. That's the end of your lesson.